Hello students. Last class we just start the chapter 11, dual nature of matter and radiation. So in last class we discussed about photoelectric current, how photoelectric current produced. Okay, then what's the relation between photoelectric current, work function, then frequency, kinetic energy, then wavelength. So all these topics we covered in previous class. In this class we are going to discuss about one important thing, stopping potential. Let's consider a chamber. Okay, so in this chamber we have a small open for incoming rays. So inside this chamber we have two metal plates. We can say this plate is cathode, and here we have another metal plate. So this plate will act like a anode. So these two metal plates connected by a rheostat. So rheostat means a varying potential, and also it is connected with an ammeter to measure the current. So the negative terminal is connected with cathode and positive terminal is connected with anode. Through the small open, radiation of light falls on the cathode. Okay, so this is the radiation. Light of high frequency and low wavelength. So when this radiation, light energy E, falls on the material, then what will happen? The free electrons from this cathode will comes out. Okay, so because of absorbing this energy, the free electron will comes out. This is photoelectric process. So electrons comes out, which is moved towards the positive plate. Okay, which is moved towards the positive plate. So here we have negative charge, here we have positive charge. So this is positive potential, correct? So according to Coulomb's law, unlike charges attracts, so these electrons attracted by this positive plate. Clear? But how long it will emit the electrons? How long this metal emit the electrons? Until certain time. So until all the electrons has been emitted, then the emission process will stop. Okay, so initially electrons will be emitted from this metal, and these electrons attracted towards the anode. Okay, anode is positive potential. So we can say this plate behave as a emitter which emit electrons, and this anode behave as a collector which collect electrons. So this chamber we can say vacuum chamber. So when electron comes out from the metal due to these photons, due to this light energy, then this electron known as photoelectrons. So because of movement of electron, we got some current. That current is known as photocurrent. The current produced due to the flow of photoelectrons, which is emitted by the cathode, is called photocurrent. Okay, so when we increase the positive potential, here we have battery. Okay, initially we give 2 volt, 4 volt like that, then we increase the voltage. Now 6 volt, 10 volt, 12 volt. Then what will happen? The electric field energy will be strong here, so the positive potential will be increasing here. So now all the electrons will be attracted or will move towards the anode, because anode have more electric field, more electric energy. Now it can able to attract all the electrons which comes from the cathode. Okay, so how long it will attract? So how long the cathode emit the electrons, that much electron it will attract. we know metal have certain number of free electrons. So for all the metal, the free electrons is in certain number. Okay, for example, if we take cathode have totally 10 free electrons. If all the 10 free electrons collected by the anode are emitted by the cathode, then there is no free electrons. So anode attract the free electrons and current will produce until it reaches the saturated limit, until all the electrons has been emitted by the cathode. So after that, there is no electrons present in the cathode, there is no free electron. If there is no free electron, then there is no photocurrent. So photocurrent value will be constant after certain period. On increasing positive potential on anode with respect to cathode, more and more electrons are attracted towards anode, and photocurrent increasing until it reaches saturation value. Okay, until all electrons emitted by the cathode. Clear? So think, if we change the potential, if I give anode as negative potential, then what will happen? If anode is negative potential, then electrons also negative charge. So now what will happen? The repulsion will take place, correct? So like charges repulse. Anode also negative plate, electrons which are coming towards the anode also negative charges. So negative will repel. So now what will happen? The anode will start to repel all the electrons. Okay, it starts to repel all the electrons, or it starts to emit all the electrons. Then further the negative potential of anode will further increase. Okay, because it is losing electrons. So when one body loses electrons, then we say that is negatively charged body. I'm sorry, actually it is not losing electrons, it is repel electrons. Okay, negative plate, then here also we have electrons. Now this anode repel all the electrons. So when electrons repelled, what will happen? The current will reduced, correct? So initially we got photocurrent because of flow of electrons from cathode to anode. Now this anode starts to repel the electrons. So because of repulsion, electrons cannot be able to reach the anode. So when electron did not reach the anode, then there is no current will produce due to the flow of electrons. So then the photocurrent value will decrease and it reaches zero value. Okay, so photocurrent value will decrease because there is no movement of electrons. There is no transfer of electron from cathode to anode. So because of no transfer of electrons, then the current value will become zero. So if we apply negative potential on anode with respect to cathode, then photoelectrons will be repelled by anode. Further increasing the negative potential, then all the electrons repelled by anode, then there is no movement of electrons from cathode to anode. So no electron can reach the anode, and hence photocurrent becomes zero. Okay, so now initially the photocurrent value will increase, and after we give negative potential, photocurrent value will become zero. The important point is the minimum magnitude of negative potential on anode which just stop the photocurrent is called stopping potential. So we give negative potential to the anode. After certain value, after one particular value, particular magnitude, the anode will starts to repel all the electrons. So that value that just stop the photocurrent is called stopping potential. Okay, for example, if 2 volt is the stopping potential, which means we give 2 volt here, then all the electrons will be repelled, photocurrent zero. Okay, then 4 volt, what will happen? Still the same result will happen. Okay, no electrons can move towards anode. 6 volt, no electrons will move towards the anode. But what is stopping potential? Stopping potential is 2 volt. Okay, so when we give 2 volt, then it repel all the electrons. If we give 4 volt, it have more strength, then no electron can come towards the anode. If we give 8 volt, then further it have more negative potential. Okay, so the initial potential, the minimum potential, that is 2 volt. 2 volt stop all the electrons and it brings the photocurrent into zero. So that 2 volt is known as stopping potential. We will draw a graph between photocurrent and stopping potential. So let's take in y-axis photocurrent, and in x-axis we have stopping potential. So initially what happened, here we have positive potential, here we have negative potential. So when we increase the positive potential, okay, for the emitter, then what will happen for the anode? Sorry, so anode is collected here. The emitter will emit the electrons, okay, which is attracted by the anode. Here anode is positive potential. So while electrons moving towards the anode, current will starts to increase. So our photocurrent value will increase, okay. But after reaching some value, which means all the electrons has been emitted by the emitter, then there is no more electrons in the cathode, okay. So there is no current. The current value will be constant after such reaching saturated limit. So after saturated limit, the current value will be constant, okay. This is straight line. But when we change the potential, now anode will act as a negative potential. So when we increase the negative potential, what will happen? All the electrons will be repelled. So current value reduce and further it reaches 0, okay. So after that, current value will reach 0 value. So this value is known as stopping potential, V naught, okay. So this is stopping potential. In x-axis we have potential, in y-axis we have photocurrent. So this current is saturation current. So let's see derivation for stopping potential. What will happen actually at stopping potential? So while electron moving from cathode to anode, now consider we change the potential, okay. So this is cathode, here we have anode, this is emitter which emit electrons, and anode will collect electrons initially. So after changing the potential, anode will behave as a negative potential. So now electron coming towards anode, which can't able to reach the anode because of its repulsion force, okay. So same charges repel. Here also electron negative charge, here we have negative plate, so negative both will repel. So while moving from cathode to anode, electron work against electrostatic force. Here what is the electrostatic force? So electrostatic force will pull the electrons away. Here also we have negative field. So for negative field, which is moving towards the electric field lines, for positive moving away, okay. So here negative field pull the electrons, push the electrons away from it, but still electron starts to move towards the negative plate. It's like swimming in the river against the direction of flow of water, okay. So what will happen when the river is flowing like this, like in this direction, water is flowing in this direction, but we are swimming in opposite direction. So even though a good swimmer cannot able to swim in this direction. If you take a dam, so in dam, if this is a dam, so water is coming very fast, correct. So even though an expert swimmer cannot able to swim against the direction of water, so while swimming against the direction of water, the swimmer will lose all his energy, okay. He lose all his stamina, okay. So this energy is known as electrostatic energy, electrostatic force. So this is our electron. So electron cannot able to swim in opposite direction because electrostatic force, okay, on the expense of its kinetic energy, its stamina, okay. So while it is moving, it gains some kinetic energy, half mv square. So even though it have more kinetic energy, it cannot be able to swim in opposite direction because negative charges and negative plate will repel each other. So at stopping potential, even the fastest electron cannot reach anode and photocurrent becomes 0. So one particular point at stopping potential, even the fastest electron which can able to move very fast, which have maximum kinetic energy, cannot able to reach the anode, okay. so it comes back, hence the current value will 0 at particular point. So we can say electron which have maximum kinetic energy, okay, which do work against electrostatic force. So what is the formula for work done? We know K max equal to E V naught. This is the formula for electrostatic work done. E V naught, where V naught is stopping potential. From this take the value of V naught. V naught equal to K max by E. We know Einstein's photoelectric equation, that is E equal to, K max equal to E minus 5. This is Einstein's photoelectric equation. So here in this equation, instead of K max, substitute this value. Okay, so V naught equal to, what is K max? K max is E minus 5 divided by E. So divide this with E, then we have V naught equal to E by E minus 5 by E. So what is E? E is hc by lambda or hf, whatever. So we can write V naught equal to hc by lambda E minus 5 by E. So this is our final equation for stopping potential. So in this equation, if you see here, H is constant, Planck's constant, C also constant, okay, E also constant, charge of electron. So the only variable thing is lambda. Okay, so our stopping potential depends on wavelength as well as frequency, because both are inversely proportional. So it depends on wavelength and frequency. And also here we have phi, work function. We know on increasing intensity of electrons, which means when we increase the brightness of the light, then what will happen? We have to increase the number of photons. Okay, if we have 30 watts bulb, then we have 60 watt bulbs. So which one have more photons? It is exactly 60 watt bulbs have more photons when compared with 30 watts bulb. So when we increase the brightness, when we increase the intensity, then our photons value will increase. Okay, with our electrons value also increase. So which increase the number of electrons and hence photocurrent increase. Okay, so in order to increase the intensity of electron, we have to increase more photons. If we increase more photons, then we get more current, correct? Because more electrons will get more current. We know the equation, I equal to Q by T, where Q is Ne, so Ne by T. So when number of electrons increase, okay, N means number of electrons increase, then current value also increase. So photocurrent will increase, but energy of each photon will remain constant. We already saw this. Energy of each photon will remain constant. So energy of photon is constant, it won't change. E equal to h mu or E equal to hf. Okay, it won't change. So V naught remains same because V naught is depends on F. Okay, V naught is depends on F, or V naught is depends on hc by lambda. So here lambda and F won't change. Okay, energy won't change. Energy of each photon won't change. It is constant. So V naught only depends on F and lambda. F and lambda won't change. Then V naught also won't change. So V naught also constant. Okay, so we can draw or we can change this graph slightly. Let's take this is current I1 for example. Okay, So in order to increase the intensity, then we have to increase the current, correct? Because intensity is directly proportional to current. To increase the intensity, we have to increase the number of photons, which increase number of electric charge electrons. If number of electrons increases, then current also increases. Okay, so for another value, our current value also increase up to saturated limit. Okay, it increase up to saturated limit. Let's take this is I2. But the stopping potential, so stopping potential will same. Okay, because we see stopping potential won't change. Stopping potential depends on frequency and wavelength. Stopping potential never depends on photocurrent. Okay, it never depends on intensity, correct? So if I take this I as intensity, for example, because we know I directly proportional to intensity, so we take this current as intensity, then stopping potential will same for different current. Okay, stopping potential will same even though the current value will be more. If we take another value I3, for this current also stopping potential will be same. Okay, kindly note on the graph. From this chapter, questions are asked based on this graph. Okay, in previous exam. So kindly note on the graph. For various intensity or various photocurrent, our stopping potential will same. Shall we draw a graph between stopping potential and frequency? So let's take stopping potential here. Here we take frequency. So what is threshold frequency? Electron needed minimum frequency. Only after that frequency will electron starts to emit from the metal. Okay, so let's take two metal. For one metal at this type, this much of frequency, there is no emission of electrons. Then again we increase the frequency, again we increase the frequency. Here electron will starts to emit. Then electron starts to emit, then anode starts to repel, correct? So stopping potential will also starts to increase. So we take for first metal, the graph will look like this. Okay, so here the stopping potential should be greater than the potential of, let's take this is metal A, potential of metal A. Then only it can able to stop the electrons, or else it cannot able to stop the electrons. Okay, this is for first metal. Let's take another metal which have minimum frequency at here. So this is the minimum frequency. Only after that frequency electron will start to come out. When electron starts to come out, then anode starts to repel. So here we get stopping potential. So for this metal B, stopping potential should be greater than potential of B. Then only electron can be stopped by the anode. So from this, let's draw a graph for photocurrent for different frequencies and stopping potential. So here we have negative potential, here we have positive potential, here we have photocurrent. So as we know, stopping potential never depends on photocurrent. Okay, in this formula there is no I, there is no photocurrent. So let's consider photocurrent as constant. Okay, so we consider constant photocurrent. Okay, for different frequency we have different stopping potential. You see here for metal A have some frequency. Okay, this much amount. Metal B have some frequency. For different frequency we have different stopping potential, correct? So when the frequency will be more, then anode should have more stopping potential in order to stop the electrons, correct? So in order to increase the frequency, the stopping potential value will also increase. Stopping potential is directly proportional to frequency. If you see this formula, okay, stopping potential depends on 1 by lambda, which means F. Okay, we know frequency equal to inversely proportional to wavelength, or wavelength equal to inversely proportional to frequency, correct? Here we have 1 by lambda, which means we can write HCF. So V naught is depends on frequency and wavelength. When frequency increase, then V naught also increase. So V naught is directly proportional to frequency. Okay, so we take different type of frequency. For example, I take first frequency, a small value. Okay, so for that value I have stopping potential starts from here. For this saturation current, let's take current as constant. So this is for first value. Okay, so I take this stopping potential as V1. For some frequency, let's take that frequency as F1. Okay, this frequency as F1. Then I increase the frequency, then stopping potential also increase. Okay, negative axis it will increase. So when I increase the frequency, stopping potential also increase. Here we have V2. So for this also we have constant current. So let's take this frequency as F2. Okay, further increase the frequency. Okay, when we increase the frequency, our stopping potential also will increase. So let's take this V3. So for V3, our frequency increase, stopping potential increase. So graph will come like this. Okay, so let's take this frequency as F3. So from this we can say F3 is greater than F2 is greater than F1. Okay, so this one have maximum frequency, and similarly we can write for maximum frequency we should have maximum stopping potential. So V03 greater than V02, which is greater than V01. Clear? So graphs are very important. Graphs will ask in exam. We will solve one problem. The figure shows variation of photocurrent with anode potential for a photosensitive surface for 3 different radiations. Let IA, IB and IC are the intensities of light. FA, FB, FC are the frequencies for the curves A, B and C. So which one of these 4 conditions is correct? That is our question. We have to choose any one condition among the 4 options. Okay, so if you see the diagram, we have curve B and C have same saturation current. Okay, this is saturation current. So which means current is directly proportional to intensity, correct? So for 3 different intensity, B and C have same photocurrent, same intensity. So we can write B and C have same current. From this diagram I am saying, okay, B and C have same current. So B and C have same current. Okay, so you should not check the option with this, because this I is intensity which is given clearly. Okay, so you have to go with frequency. So same current means same intensity. We can write IB equal to IC. Okay, then if you check the diagram, for this value stopping potential is same for curve A and B. Okay, so A and B have same stopping potential, which means we know stopping potential is directly proportional to frequency, correct? So V naught directly proportional to frequency, which means frequency of A equal to frequency of B. Okay, so we almost found the conditions. Now check with the condition. If I take IB equal to IC, if I take this option, then here you see FB equal to FC, but FB is not equal to FC, FA equal to FB. So you have to check with the conditions. Okay, So then go with FA equal to FB. Here we have FA equal to FB here and FA equal to FB here. So among these two, which one is correct? See option C, FA equal to FB, correct. But IA equal to IB, here IB equal to IC. So IA equal to IB is not correct. And this option also not correct. Okay, then go with option A, FA equal to FB. Okay, then IA not equal to IB. Here IB equal to IC, IA not equal to IB, which is correct also. Okay, IA is not equal to IB. So option A is correct. Clear? Thank you.